Hi, hello friends. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke. I'm a lover of all things cozy and grandma hobbies, and today I am sharing with you my 10 before the end / winter TBR. So grab your cup of tea or cozy beverage of choice and let's get into the video. There's already dog hair in my tea. Great start. There's something so magical about the first sip of tea in a day, and when you sip it at what I call the optimum tea temperature, game over. It's so good. A couple of weeks ago, I got a nasty cold that just seemed to never go away, and it gave me laryngitis, which I am still recovering from. So I sound a little bit hoarse, a little bit rusty, shall we say. Laryngitis and me go way back. I am an actor and performer. I went to performing arts school, did a lot of theater, high school theater, and I have gotten laryngitis a good number of times. And the last time I got laryngitis, it lasted 4 months and I had to go get scoped and then go to speech therapy. Hopefully we're going to avoid that this time. It is getting so much better than it was. I feel like my actual voice is like nearly all the way back, but it has made me had to slow down a little bit over the last couple of weeks and focus on rest and recovery, which I probably needed. It's probably why I got sick in the first place. All that to say is I know I sound funny. I won't always sound funny. Maybe for the next couple of videos, but eventually it'll be fine. Let's get into the TBR. I use the term TBR lightly. I am very much a mood reader and a seasonal reader, so you'll notice a little bit of a theme with these books and why I am calling it 10 before the end and winter TBR, because they are definitely seasonally themed, but I love to read books that fit the season that we're in. In September and October, I love to read dark academia, spooky season, witchy books, fantasy. I still like to read fantasy now. I'm currently reading fantasy, but as we get closer to Christmas, I love like winter holiday reads. So a lot of them are holiday reads, and it's not necessarily like 10 books that I have been, I guess, like dying to get to all year, or books that I'm like, I need to read this before the end of the year or I'm cooked. I don't necessarily have like that sort of feeling, so I've picked books that I definitely want to read before the end of the year for the seasonal reading that I like to do. So that being said, the first book on the TBR is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I've had this book since it came out. I've had this book for 3 years, and I have the subsequent books that follow this one, and I haven't read any of them. I would love to read all 3, but I feel like at the very least we'll start with this one. It's just a holiday read that's been on my TBR for years, that every year I say that I'm going to get to, and every year I haven't. I don't know why. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really cute. I've heard great things. I just don't know why I haven't gotten to it. So I definitely want to do that this year. I'm just reading the back of this, but something about me is that I largely will go into a book almost completely blind. I will know the vibes or the general gist of what's going on in a book, but a lot of my reading is based on recommendations. So like if somebody tells me the vibe of the book and then tells me that they liked it, I'll be like, okay, cool. And I will usually pick it up and enjoy it. So like before I read a book, I quite usually couldn't tell you what it's about. So the fact that I'm just reading the back of this and I'm now realizing that the FMC is an adult film star makes me very intrigued. I feel like we don't get that sort of representation necessarily in romance books, so I am very excited about that. And then the other thing too is that this is a plus-sized FMC, so there's inclusive representation, which I really like. All in all, I feel like this is going to be a spicy holiday rom-com, and that's all I really ask for. My one concern about this is that it does depict like the film industry, and as an actor, I usually don't like reading about that. I don't know what it is, but like I steer clear usually of books that are like reality TV show based, or they're actors, or they work in film. Maybe because I do that occasionally. I just sometimes find it cringe to read about. It's like, okay, I want to escape my real life, not live within what I already exist in. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird quirk. It's just like a weird personal thing. Not that they're bad books, but I just get weird about it. I don't know why. So because this book is like a film book, she's technically an adult film star, but she gets cast in a family-friendly film. And then it's I think the relationship is between the two co-stars. I think reading about the film industry just makes me nervous. But I'm sure the book is so good, so I'm definitely gonna read it, because that's just like just a silly thing to be hung up on. I don't know why. It's so strange. Trying to explain that out loud makes me realize that it's really weird. The next book on my 10 Before the End holiday TBR is Good Spirits by B.K. Borson. Of course, this is on the TBR. Look at these edges. And this cover, stunning. Brittany Keller, who did the illustration for this cover, she's one of my favorite artists. I've been following her on Instagram forever. I'm so obsessed. This one is, if you haven't heard about it already, is inspired by or a take on A Christmas Carol, in that the MMC is the ghost of Christmas past. So we have a little bit of magical realism in this rom-com. It's definitely holiday themed. This just sounds so cute, so wholesome. I feel like it's gonna be filled with Christmas magic. When B.K. Borson announced this book, I really had no clue what it was about, but because I love the author, the cover is cute, and I knew the most basic information about it, I was like, add to cart, pre-order, thank you. And I'm so excited to read that. I have loved every one of B.K. Borson's books. I don't think there's been one that I disliked. And First Time Caller is one of my favorites. It's so wholesome, it's so heartwarming, and I just feel like I'm gonna get that vibe. Plus some spice from Good Spirits. I'm super excited. The next two books on the 10 Before the End winter TBR are by the same author, Laura Gilmore. We have The Christmas Tree Farm and The Gingerbread Bakery. I think these covers are so stinking cute. There's a little bit of foiling. I don't know if you can tell, but like the lights on the Christmas tree, there's a little bit of foiling there, and all the little lights and baubles on the decorations. And then on the Gingerbread Bakery, there's also some cute foiling on the cover there. These books are majorly seasonally themed, and they are like a Hallmark movie in a book. Last year I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This year I read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore in the fall. So this year I want to get these two holiday themed ones. They are super cute. They're super fun, super lighthearted, a little bit of a silly good time, small town romance. It's the same small town, and they each just follow like a different business owner in the town, and you sort of get like a little bit of slice of life, a little bit of small town excitement. They're just really cute, and I think they're gonna be great holiday reads. So those are definitely on the list. They've been sitting on my TBR for far too long. And then of course, it isn't a winter TBR without some hockey romance on it. As a Canadian with a hockey-loving, hockey-playing boyfriend, there's no way I could escape hockey romance. But I love them, so it's okay. The first one on my list is Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. This has a Target sticker on it. I got it from Book Outlet, and I'm too afraid to try and take this sticker off without some serious help from a hairdryer. This, again, is one that I couldn't tell you what it's about, other than that it's a hockey romance and people really like it, and that was enough for me. I am but a simple creature. Also, I think the cover is so cute. I love the illustration, so I'm really excited, and I really love the pairing of like figure skater FMC, hockey playing MMC, because they have a shared love over skating and being on the ice, just in different forms, and I think it's really cute to see them come together. Also, I feel like it's a trope that I can relate to, because like, I'm not being humble when I say that I'm not a great figure skater, but I did grow up taking lessons, and that's the skates I wear when I go skating is figure skates. And my boyfriend plays hockey, so every year something that we try to do in the winter is go skating together, because it's something that we both love and both enjoy, even though I'm not great at it. So I think because of the way that that trope sort of sneaks into my personal life, it's something I love to read about because it's so wholesome and fun and cute. So I'm really excited for this one. Another hockey romance on my list is by Canadian author Rachel Reed. It's called Time to Shine. This one's a queer hockey romance. I think they're both hockey players. A merry and bright hockey romance about finding your place, finding your people, and finding your way back to the one you love the most. This one came out last year, and I heard a lot of really good things about it. And what's exciting for me, and also like a personal memory that makes me just like so happy to read this, is that this author is from Nova Scotia, and I went to Halifax, Nova Scotia for the very first time. Oh, it would have been 2 years ago this book came out, because I was in Halifax 2 years ago now for a good friend's wedding, and I bought this book in Halifax at a local bookshop, and so that is just like a really special memory. It made me feel like I was supporting local, I don't know where Nova Scotia she's from, but like same province. Close enough, I guess. So I'm really excited. And this author, I think, has another one of her books, I think, is being made into either a movie or a TV show that comes out this year. So that's really amazing. So I'm super intrigued to read this one. I always love supporting Canadian authors, and this book takes place like in Canada because there's lots of Canadian authors who write stories that take place in the States. And while they're still really good, they're really great. I love Canadian representation in what I read as a Canadian myself. I love being able to identify the Canadian aspects of a book. I feel like I've talked about this before, but like Carly Fortune does that really well. Hannah Bonham Young, Elsie Silver. And so this one, to see that this one like takes place in Calgary is really exciting to me because it's a legit Canadian place. And it's a book about hockey. Like I feel like it's just gonna feel like a Canadian winter, and that's perfect because that is the season we're entering. And I feel as though Canadian winters just have a very specific nostalgia to them, like a very specific feeling that differs from winter in anywhere else. And I think that this book is going to embody that, and I am very excited. Next on my list is a book that I got, again, maybe last year or the year before, and just never got to, but have been excited for. I think the cover is so cute. It's called Love You Alatka by Amanda Elliott. It takes place in New York. Look how cute this cover is. I am excited for this. This one is, both the MCs are Jewish, so I'm really excited to sort of explore one of the other major holidays that goes on this time of year, which is Hanukkah, which I personally, as someone who isn't religious, I don't know all that much about, so I'm excited to explore that within a romance novel. Just like there's something magical about winter in Canada, there's also something magical about the holidays in New York. I've never been to New York, but I feel like New York is the representation of like Christmas or holidays. Holiday rom-coms are usually New York based. They take place in New York City. So I feel like growing up, it's so easy to associate New York with the holidays. And I feel like it's a bucket list place for me to travel this time of year too. I think it would be so special and memorable to go to New York in the holiday season one day. But I'm very excited for this. I think it's gonna be super cute, super festive. Oh, and it's a fake dating trope. I love a fake dating trope. Next on my list is another new release from a favorite author of mine that I auto-buyed. I didn't need to know anything about it. She was coming out with it. It was going in my cart. And that is Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. I have loved every single Hannah Grace book. A queen of hockey romance, in my opinion. So I'm so excited about this holiday book. My best friend has read this book already, and she told me it gives cozy Hallmark vibes. As far as I'm aware, Clara is the heir to like a big toy company, and she goes to small towns to sort of solve problems for small towns who struggle to either get toys or make toys. I'm not 100% sure, but she travels from small town to small town. I guess you could call it looking for business opportunities for her work, but this particular small town has a local toy store that our MMC, I believe, owns, and he has been wronged or snubbed by the large toy company that our FMC works for. And so when she tries to convince the town that they're not the enemy, he doesn't believe a single word. But of course, somewhere in there is a love story. Just like the fact that it's big city girl who works for a big company going to a small town feels very Hallmark to me. And so I think it's gonna be the perfect holiday read. I've definitely not explained this well at all, but to be quite honest, I haven't even read the full blurb on the back. Is this a toxic trait of mine? I feel like this is a toxic trait. Here's what I'm gonna read. I can't tell you what it's about because I don't know. I'm here for the vibes. I do have an English degree, but around these parts, we read for vibes and escapism. I don't read for critical thinking anymore. It's purely entertainment based. Next on my list is a fantasy book that is very, I would say, winter themed. It's called North is the Night by Emily Rath, who I believe is the author of like Pucked and like Pucking Wild, which are hockey romance books that I don't think are personally for me, but I didn't know that she also wrote fantasy. And this book is quite literally stunning. There's art on the reverse dust jacket. The foiling goes all the way around. And if there's one thing about me, it's that I'm a sucker for a pretty book. So this came home with me last year, and now feels like a great time to read it. It takes place in Finland, so I feel like this is going to be really folkloric and overall just like really intriguing winter settings. And fun fact, Emily Rath is Finnish American. I did not know that. So I'm actually really excited. I think this is going to be really good. Again, this book was purchased because it's stunning. I have looked at no reviews. I have barely looked at the description. This is truly a toxic trait. I feel like I need to pull myself together. This is crazy. I feel like I'm exposing myself, even like to myself. Like I'm just like realizing how chaotic of a reader I am as I'm trying to tell you what books I want to read. Couldn't tell you why I want to read them. It's just based on the vibes. Crazy. I love folklore inspired fantasy books. I think they can be so special, and I love like a myth retelling. And I think that's sort of what this is, or it's inspired by Finnish folklore. And I'm so excited. I think there's something so magical in fairy tales, in folklore, in myths. There is a reason that these stories have existed for eons and continue to be passed down and reworked, re-inspired, and I feel like they hold their own kind of magic. And so I'm really looking forward to that one actually for that reason. And the last book on my 10 Before the End winter TBR is Throne of Secrets by Kerri Maniscalco. This is one that I need to read because the third book in this series comes out in January. And so I feel like I'm gonna need to read it pretty soon after it comes out and not leave it till the end of the year like I did with this one, because I love Kerri Maniscalco. Kerri Maniscalco is one of my absolute favorite authors. I read the Stalking Jack the Ripper series this autumn. So good. It might be one of my favorite series of all time. And I've just loved Kerri Maniscalco from the very first book I read of hers. I've just always been a fan. And I've really enjoyed her adult continuation, I guess, of the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I think it's a great move. It's such a fun world to be into. It's so exciting to see like all the brothers of that series, all the Princes of Hell. They're just fun. If you've never heard of this series, this is a continuation, like I said, of the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, which is a teen YA book. The later books are questionable on the age rating. I feel like they're more new adult than anything else. But it's basically like an exploration of the 7 Princes of Hell. And each book in this series, this is like an adult spin-off series, I guess, of the Kingdom of the Wicked. Each book is about a different Prince of Hell other than the one we learn about in Kingdom of the Wicked. They're all interconnected standalone books. I think you do have to read them in order because I think the events kind of follow chronologically, but each book follows a different prince. They are adult fantasy, they are spicy, but they're super fun, they're super intriguing. And I don't know about all of them, but I feel like there's some kind of mystery element to each book. I feel like that's a pretty good constant theme for Kerri Maniscalco's books, and I love a mystery subplot in fantasy books, so I'm so excited about these. And I think Kerri Maniscalco does it so well, so I'm super excited. And that's it. That's the 10 books I want to read before the end of the year, my holiday TBR, winter TBR. I'm so excited. I feel like the vibes are going to be on point. Cozy, wholesome, festive, holiday reads. I feel like that's what I was going for, the seasonal vibe, and I think I have achieved that. I'm really excited to dive in. And I'm curious to know if you have read any of these books, if you have any favorites that are on this list, or if you have anything you think I should add, anything you think that is kind of cozy, holiday, winter themed that you think I need to read. Because like I said, even though I have this TBR, I'm a mood reader. A TBR is like a guideline rather than an expectation. So we never know what we're gonna get to, really. But these are my hopefuls. These are what I'm hoping to get to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely leave your thoughts about these books in the comments below. And also maybe if you're like me and read for vibes, that would maybe make me feel better about myself. Let me know if you're like me. I feel like at this point, with the amount of books that I have, the amount of books I've read, I feel like I know my taste and I know that I'll enjoy something if it has like a certain checklist of vibes or tropes. The plot is what I'm gonna learn along the way as I read. Does that even make any sense? I don't know. It might not. I feel like I have to examine the kind of reader I am after this. I feel like it's very chaotic. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it might help me to know. so I can better prepare for these videos, because clearly so many of these books were picked based on vibe. So I'll report back with how I feel about these books after I've read them. Maybe we'll do a holiday wrap up this year, and I'll definitely share my thoughts on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me, the link is down below. I will definitely post more real-time thoughts as I read through these books. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you're reading any of these books, or if you have, if you've liked them. And I will see you very, very soon for some more holiday content. Thank you so much.